Metabolic diseases such as obesity and type 2 diabetes are a rapidly increasing global health and social problem. With a new donation of 700 million Danish kroner, the Novo Nordisk Foundation Center for Basic Metabolic Research has developed 4 new synergistic programs to try to solve complex metabolic puzzles. The first program aims to better understand the role of environmental factors such as diet and exercise on metabolic health. The researchers examine epigenetic modifications which do not change the DNA code but can turn genes on and off.
After different exposure to different environmental factors, let's say a diet rich in fat or carbohydrate, we've seen difference in these modifications, so different epigenetic marks in individuals affected with insulin resistance, obesity or type 2 diabetes.
The researchers are investigating how diet or physical activity can modulate the epigenetic information, for example, in sperm, leading to changed metabolic health in the next generation.
We hope this research is going to lead to a better understanding of the best environment before we conceive our children. I think the impact of this research program is through the integrative approach to be able to identify therapeutic avenues, new targets that we could use to mimic the preventive effects of physical exercise.
Equally important is understanding how the human genome and the microbiome interact. This is the focus of the second program.
The aim of our new center program is to study the impact of variation in our own genome and our microbiome and the global microbiome. What we mean with that is the impact of bacteria, virus and fungi on both health and disease.
The scientists study the impact of microbes on our health by analysing DNA samples from more than 250,000 individuals and more than 50,000 samples from oral saliva and the gut microbiome, all stored in a biobank.
These samples we can use for studies of physiology. We can use them for studies of also disease pathogenesis. And we do it by coupling the information from the samples up to the Danish registers. That will give us a chance to see how variation in the samples can predict disease outcome later in life.
The researchers have already identified specific genetic variants that predict weight loss in children as a result of their response to lifestyle interventions on weight loss. The focus in the third program is based on such gene variants that may, for example, identify novel therapeutic avenues and experimental interventions to improve metabolic health.
We can use the structure and understanding of the receptors to generate compounds which we can use as pharmacological tools, which improves our basic research really much, but which also can form the basis for forming spin-out companies, new biotech companies, and collaborations with the industry. And at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of the patients to treat diabetes and obesity.
The researchers are developing candidates to block stress signals and metabolic inflammation and to control appetite by tricking you into thinking that you are full when you are not, and thereby stop eating.
The center has now become a true magnet for the best metabolic researchers in the world right now, because of the way it's built up, and because, for instance, our different enabling platforms will be fantastic for young, middle-aged researchers that come in. They can play on all these platforms that we have generated and maybe make new platforms.
In the final program on metabolic science in culture, the scientists produce innovative exhibitions and events that communicate about metabolic research from a cultural and historical perspective. The center's research on the microbiome, the microbes that live on and in our bodies, is one example.
There are so many bacteria, fungus and viruses living on and in us that some scientists say we're more bacteria than we are humans. It's contentious scientifically exactly what that means, but it absolutely shifts how we think about the boundaries between the body and the world, or us and the animals or the microbes around us.
Their research on how this affects our perception of ourselves as human beings will shape future communication activities Having a research-based communication group of this size embedded within a scientific centre is internationally unique and allows close collaboration with the scientific programmes.
Metabolic science is fundamentally relevant to the wider society. It might seem like it's very complex and detailed, the work in the laboratories, but actually it connects to wide public health issues and also to the way that all of us understand ourselves, our bodies and what we eat in our everyday lives.